Okay, so I think I'm online now. Mm, I'm too nervous. It's not my first time to being online, but still, this is my first time to do something different here. Today, I will read a novel, Witch Alina. I hope you guys are like novels like me. I also like novel reading too. So let's get started. Okay, I will introduce myself. I'm Flawless. I'm wolf, half human, as you can see. I'm visual from India. I like reading novels and reading stuff and anime, manga, all the things that we do. So let's get started, guys. Okay. Hmm. So this is chapter one. If you're wondering about where do I get started from this chapter 1, so you heard about the enemy, right? The where the enemy left of season 2. This chapter is about the season 2 of Elena. So we are starting season 2 of Elena from the novel. So let's start now. The place was ruined, overgrown with large trees. The remnant of buildings stood cracked, crumbled, and broken along the surface, their original purpose lost to time. The trees and moss had crept over them, beginning to stretch quietly toward the sky. There was a sound of water. The ground underfoot was flooded with every step. The water gently rippled, causing the surface to crease. Once inhabited by humans, this city was now nature adobe. Currently, there was no sign of people except for us. Oof! Maybe she's. Who said this? Maybe Elena. Okay. Once we had walked for a little while over the dump ground, I turned around abruptly inside what was left of crumbled edifice and sat down. I set my broom down beside me. That was when I noticed fireflies fluttering all around me. This is quite the place, won't you say? Yeah, she stretched her tired body. I wonder how much further we have to go to reach my hometown. I wonder, yes. It could be one day or two or several months. Her hometown was just that far away. Its existence as hollow as hazy mist. She looked out over this place that had once been a city. Her soft white hair swayed in the mist breeze. Soft white hair. Wait. Who they talking about? Maybe Elena, because Elena also has soft white hair. It must have felt nice. It looked like a corner of her mouth curled upward ever so lightly, but her expression seemed lonely. People used to live here, didn't they? Yes. Well, it is ruined. You're probably right. I wonder what happened to them. The place looked ancient. It had to have been over 100 years ago at least. No, I guess even more time had to have passed for nature to heal. So I'm sure all the settlers are long dead. That's not what I'm talking about. Seriously, you are such a droner. I guess she meant their distant relative. How was I supposed to know that? Maybe they had no abandoned the place because of far war, or perhaps they left for less violent reasons. There is no way to know for sure. I wonder what happened. I hope they are alive. She looked off into the distance, gazing at the ruins, her voice softened enough to disappear with the breeze. How sad it is to be forgotten. It was frail and uneasy. I don't think you need to worry about that. When I answered her, she opened her eyes just a little bit wider and turned her face toward me. I looked into her green eyes. Jade green eyes. Wait. Does Alina has jade green eyes? No. Maybe she is talking about different person, right? Okay, this place is incredible. It's perfect location for cool summer retreat. What? Huh? Even if there's no one here right now, someone might live here again one day. It may even become famous as a sightseeing spot. For all we know, this place is a legendary hidden spot for someone else. So everything's fine, I told her. Okay. As long as people visit this place and don't forget about it, it won't be truly become ruined, right? It won't truly become a ruin. Well, she's right, I think. She lowered her eyes. I'm going to forget it, though. I'm going to forget it, though. She laughed as if she had given up. The girl name was Amnesia. So the girl name was Amnesia. She also has white hair like Elaina and Jade's green eyes. Okay, her clothing made her look like a knight of some chivalric order. Beneath her flowing white robe, the rest of her clothes were formal white. She wore a thick headband in her short white hair. She had a mysterious curse placed on her that caused her to lose her memory every day. Wait. Okay, the girl named Amnesia has a curse on her, like a mysterious curse placed on her that caused her to lose her memory every day. She couldn't even remember her own name. Oh, really? Well, that's quite sad. That's why you got to get your memory back and remember it all, I said to her. Okay, I said to her, this refers to Elaina. Elaina said to her, I will. She nodded gently and replied, so you shouldn't forget either. Okay, Emelina? Elena, sorry, Elena. Of course not. This isn't the kind of scenery I would forget anytime. Okay, this is kind of scenery I would forget anytime soon. I looked up. What I saw there were the rune which still stood strong even though they were decrepit, beautiful and majestic. Dep Despective everything they had resisted. Okay, so this is the introduction of chapter first, right? So hey, what? Chapter 1 is already ended, huh? Okay, starting chapter 2. But before we going that, let me add something from here. Let me edit. Okay, I'm ready to go for chapter 2 now. A tough cookie like myself always began her day with a cup of coffee. To those of us who dwell in the shadow, making all living as a species, there was nothing better than waking up to a cup of java strong enough to properly banish sheep. At least, that was what's written in my hard-boiled spy novel. It had to be true. Pumping ourselves full of coffee and drug was the way of the world. Weary. I mixed a drop of medicine into my coffee and drank it down. This was my daily routine. Okay, that's the Elena daily routine. I see. I'd never been sure of what was in these drugs. I bought them from some mail order catalog, but they were super expensive. So I was convinced they were beneficial to my health. No, that's not true. Not every expensive thing is healthy. uh, talk about talk about childish. Elena is so childish, man. Okay, blah, so bitter. That's uh medicine have to be bitter, bro. I mean, sis, medicine have to be bitter. Okay, I figured out some problem, guys. Let me fix over it. What's the problem? What's the problem? The problem is enable mouth tracking. Yeah. Hey. This is not good. By the way, whatever. Uh, okay, okay. Hmm. Okay, I resolved the problem so fast, right? Ha. Hmm. This strong flavor was actually what banished sleepiness, really. Bitter taste uh, really awaken you so fast. That's why they are bitter and should be taken in the morning. So your sleepy mood will gone away, right? Okay. That wasn't written anywhere in the books, though coffee was really bitter and gross. Ugh. I seriously tasted like a mud. You, then why are you eating? Why are you drinking that? If you think like it's mud, huh? Which triggered my gag reflex and made drowniness. My second priority, it didn't taste anything like how they describe it in the spy novel. In fact, they wrote that black coffee was delicious or something, but that had to be sarcasm or some sort of dark comedy. Get it? Because of coffee is dark. No. Ew. Ew. That coffee is so dark. So after cooking in the bathroom, as usual, I headed for the office looking cool. As I walked, I popped a chocolate cigarette in my mouth. Oh, wait. Elena never eaten cigarette. Elena never smoke, right? No, it's a chocolate cigarette, so it doesn't count as a smoke. My workplace was a spy organization that fronted as a coffee shop. It looked hip and intelligent up front, but in the back, we took care of the bloody business. Wasn't that just the very definition of case hardened? Oh, Yuri, you're here. Okay. So this is not about Elena. This is about Yuri. You're here. Oh, Yuri, you're here. Let's get down to business. I got a job for you. The person who spoke to me was Grumpy Old Man, the boss of the organization. Apparently, this man was the one who picked me up when I was abandoned as a child and raised me. I have no memory of this since it happened so long ago. I forgot all about my past because I'm so jaded by the world. And I suppose it's something that worthy of my time. I asked, tossing my hair even toward the boss. My attitude was hard boiled. It's a job only you can do. Look at this. Okay, the boss said. The boss frowned and tossed a file into my desk. And when did you become enough of a big shock to talk to me like that? Huh? And when did you become enough of a big shot to talk to me like that? He scrolled at me hard. He scowled at me hard. Okay. Keeping my trembling fingers in check, I opened the file. The content were a very simple matter. However, it was a directive that was simple and therefore complicated. Directive for the assassination of fictional witch. Oh, fictional witch. Assassin of fictional witch. I wonder who they're talking about. Under the title were written and the basic characteristic of target and the date of set of assassination. The target was traveling witch. Oh, dude. Who had arrived in this country several days earlier. This witch had a cute outward appearance, okay, but her character was evil beyond all description. She was a fiend among fiends who deceived people without hesitation, thought only of accumulating wealth and thought only of accumulating health, and made free use of any and all fraudulent method to swindle people. From innocent commoner to royalty, damage reports had been coming in the night and the day from the neighboring countries, and it sounded like it would be no exaggeration to say that if we were unable to bring her down here, she could destroy a small country. As per this directive, whatever the file says, this this which supposed to be Elena, right? Okay, no problem. Let's see what's the another page said. An evil individual to be sure. But the inconvenient part was that the target was a witch amongst the ranks of mages. Okay. It went novice, apprentice, then witch, the highest rank that only rare genius attain. 16 years had passed since I was born in this country, but I had yet to lay eyes on real one. That was how rare they were. But that particular witch was pure evil, and this time she was the target and was supposed to bring down. So here am I. Seriously, I wouldn't put out this directive as a joke, but I'm just an ordinary mage. I forgot to tell you, but I was the lowest class of mage. Okay, that's Yuri said. You could say that if witches were like precious gemstone, I was like one of a little pebbles scattered around them. But this job is one of that I can only entrust to you. That's old people. That's old man said. As you know, our organization is entirely men, except for you, and most of them can't even use magic. To be honest, if it comes down to a magical showdown, the person in our organization with the highest chance of survival is you. In other words, this job only I can do. Ah, I see. I already told you that. My boss let out sigh expression. Feeling somewhat nervous, I looked over the description of the target, which one more time. Her hair was color of ash. Okay, they are talking about Elaina, right? That for sure. But when she becomes so evil, I wonder. When she becomes so evil. Okay, let it go, man. Her hair was the color of ash. It went down to about her hips. They are talking about Elaina, right? And swayed gently in the summer breeze blowing across the seats at the cafe terrace. Her eyes was lapis colored. They were tranquil like a sea in the midwinter, looking at the complete breakfast that had been placed before her. Complete breakfast consisted of boiled egg toast and black coffee. She was a traveler clad in a pointy black hat and a black robe. Upon her breast was a star-shaped brooch that served as a proof that she was a witch. In short, she was a traveler and a witch. She must have been around her late teens. Yeah, she might be 18s. Something about her was unrefined as she worked diligently to peel the shell from her boiled egg. She looked like someone's adorable daughter helping her mother in the kitchen. And how someone think, really man, how someone think that she is so evil? No. Finally, a cute daughter, the witch, finished peeling her eggs and gulped her coffee down in one mouth. She loved it, black, or with a splash of milk, or with a sprinkling of sugar as long it was coffee. Even better to drink the first few sips black, then add dash to milk and sugar to experience all the different flavor. Okay, they are talking about coffee, huh? Coffee is the best, she thought, letting out say as she set down the cup down. Oddly enough, she was picky about her boiled eggs. She thought it was best when the yolk crumbled into bits as soon as she pulled her mouth away after taking a bite. That way it was easy to sprinkle with salt. That very definition of hard boiled. What a beautiful morning. This witch seated in highly revived cafe taking a break from her travel. Just who could she be? That's right, she's me, Elaina. Okay, I could take in the scenery of this country from my terrace seat at the cafe. The city was lined with the white painted walls and uniform building. The ground was paved with the brick spreading out to form fan-shaped pattern. The people strolling over it were sloping or engaged in friendly conversation or walking around people watching like me. It seems like a nice, safe, clean city, though the scenery wasn't anything special. The everyday lives of people were spread out before me, and so I was blending into the scene by taking rest at a coffee cafe. Excuse me, miss. If you don't mind, could I get your autograph? Huh? Who is he? I was drinking my coffee, lost in a thought about what I should do after breakfast, when a witness brought me a piece of a colored paper and a pen along with another cup of java. The coffee on the house, she added. My autograph. Why? I'm sure I was making quite puzzled expression. I'm not famous or anything, you know. I'm just your average traveler. The waitress looked very excited. This is my first time seeing a witch. Oh, really? I've now always aspired to be one, so I was moved when I saw you today. Her two light brown pigtail bobbed tied at the back of her head. She peered at me with the blue eyes and gazing closer and closer. So, if you don't mind, I want to decorate the shop with it. Okay. Well, I guess I really don't mind. So she's going to be decorate the shop with her autograph, with Elaina autograph. Wow, that's good. Oh no, it will leave a clue for that detective, right? Oh, dude, I took the pen smoothly, wrote my name on the colored paper. It was a sloppy signature like I would do at the front desk of an inn. Here you go. I handed it back to her, and the waitress held it like it was something precious. Thank you. Please drink the coffee. Okay. It made with love. But I was still working on my first cup. What the heck was that all about? I couldn't say. I didn't find the waitress strangely suspicious. Also, what did she mean by saying this was made with love? Something suspicious, right? It looked like a totally ordinary cup of coffee. How could you say that it made with love? It's just an ordinary coffee, man. A witch wasn't opposed to hospitality, but it felt peculiar, whatever. Hey, Miss Witch, you are cute. You're alone. Wanna have coffee with me? As I picked up a cup that waitress had just given me, a sketchy man sat down across from me. A witch isn't opposed to being treated in a flippant way. Rather, she knows that if she places a curse on the man, propositioning her to make him spew blood from every orifice on his body, then the world will become a little bit more peaceful. So what she think, huh? I'm sorry, I'm a bit busy right now with the I thought I brought a lovingly prepared coffee to my lips. There are all kinds of way to enjoy a cup of java. For example, as I told you earlier, you can enjoy it by taking the first few sips black before adding milk and sugar, or you can enjoy it black from beginning to the end. Anyway, it wouldn't be any exaggeration to say that a single cup holds infinite possibilities. When considering your cup of coffee, which holds an endless expansion of enjoyment, the first thing you ought to do is inhale and feel the aroma flood the inside of your chest. I think there is nothing better. I know a place that has better coffee. How about it? Let's go together. The sharp steam from coffee blended with his clungle and swallow word action, transforming into something truly repulsive. My heart dropped. The aroma of high quality coffee that had undergone a completely change into something that seemed more like muddy water. I felt like throwing up. Huh? It's definitely better. Really, I might not look the part, but you know, I'm quite a coffee connoisseur. Connoisseur. Okay, whatever. Huh? I was ignoring the man, enjoying the coffee aroma for a bit when I realized something strange. Mixed in with the coffee and the stench of garbage wafting off the pile of human trash was a slight medical odor. It was hard to notice beneath the smell, yet there was an acrid smell that had no business in a cafe. It was just the slightest hint of scent. To test out the theory, I took some distance from the man. Hey, wait, are you ignoring me? That's mean. Okay, even when I isolated the cup from his filthy strands, the medical smell still wafted off it. I kept sniffing around for a while trying to identify the scent. Ah, then I realized this is poison. Poison! With the secret potential to make me nauseous from a pit of my stomach if I drank it. What's worse? It was an awful type that would only show its true power when mixed with the coffee. If I were to drink this, I would puke all over myself in front of whole town. What was all that about yearning to become witch like me? What was all that about making this with love? Does love mean projectile vomiting? Projectile vomiting? When I looked around me, I couldn't see a waitress anymore. Not aside the cafe, not in a crowd, not anywhere in the sight. Oh, could it be that I'm being targeted by someone? With a bad hunch, I decided to leave the cafe right then. Hey, wait. What about our date? Sorry, gotta run. I'm busy. I've got a plan. I lied. I'm collecting my things. I will give you this office. I've already had some of it, though. I'm not a fan. I pushed that poison coffee toward the man and made my escape. Even I thought my sloppy lie about being sensitive to coffee was rather transparent, but the shallow man bought it wholesale. He even had a lewd look in his face. Oh, leftovers, really? Lucky me! Yeah, go ahead, another lie. What's that status on the matter with the witch? What's that? Okay. It's the difference. Different scenario. Let me take a rest for a while. I'm back. Another scenario. What's the status on the matter with that witch? When I returned to the office, the boss was wearing another sour expression. I had done a somber black robe on top of my waitress getup to lend a hard-boiled feel to it all, and as I answered, I flipped the robe dramatically, causing my brown pigtail to bounce. Okay, brown pigtail. This is okay. She is detective. Okay, the detectives come. As expected, I brought down the witch with my own hands. Right about now, that woman ought to be dying of embarrassment in front of whole city. Okay, so that was her plan. Whoever drink that coffee will vomit. Okay, so that's what poison do actually. It was perfect strategy. The fictional witch in question had been leisurely enjoying her breakfast at a cafe in a town, so I'd gotten her autograph and hung it up in the restaurant. There was nothing more embarrassing in this world than having your signature hanging in cafe despite not being famous for anything. That witch must be feeling so much shame that she would rather crawl in a hole and die. And of course, in this plan, there is no such a hole. I slickly told my boss the tale of the plan that had taken down the evil witch, and hear what my boss had to say after silently lending me his ear. So I suppose you saw her become mortified with your own eyes. Huh? Of course not. I would get second-hand embarrassment. At this point, my boss let out huge say, "You look okay, listen up. First of all, there's no way a witch would die just because she was mistaken for someone famous, right?" Just what do you have to think, bro? She would die in a social sense. No, I want you to physically kill her. Also, the witch wasn't even humiliated. Huh? Oh no, contrary. One of our agent got mixed up in all this and threw up at the cafe. Huh? What do you mean? Did he drink the coffee or something? Coffee is basically poison. From now on, you're only to carry out your plan after informing your colleagues. All right. Okay, okay. So the lived man is actually the colleague of this girl, right? This detective girl. After that, the day ended with me getting a long scolding from the boss. I swore to him that I would do some serious reflection and bring down the witch with an even more perfect plan the next day. I stayed up all night working out my new scheme, enjoying a cup of drug-laced coffee while rolling out blueprint and brooding over them. Thought I had absolutely no idea what was written on them. Made me seem like case-hardened detective. And then I threw up. I had 1 week to carry out my plans. I wasn't going to think about what would happen in the event that I was unable to bring down at the frictional witch within the time period. Since I had recorded a cursing defeat on day 1, I decided to use the next 5 days to diligently study the witch. On the final day, I would bring this matter to an end. When I told the boss about this plan, he replied, "Oh, cool." His attitude was as cold as ice. Okay, ऐसे. So his boss like, "Oh, cool." Okay, let me make some same attitude. Oh, cool. Maybe. Day 1 of surveillance. The morning sun was dazzling today. The witch had been lunging at a cafe since morning. I could practically hear her challenging me. "You're not really that scary. Go on, hit me anywhere you like." The morning sun dazzling today. The witch had been lounging at a cafe since morning. I could practically hear her challenging me. Okay. Today she ordered only a cup of coffee, perhaps because she is on her guard. However, she hadn't taken a single sip. Watching as the coffee placed before her gradually lost all of its steam, I knew coffee was disgusting. She must have forced herself to drink it yesterday. I understood. I continued stalking out the cafe until evening. Those boring hours were the struggle against drowsiness, but it was especially at times like these that we must compose ourselves. True victory awaited me if I remained patient. So that was why I drank coffee to keep me awake while I was on my stakeout. And I puked it back up. Night fell, and I withdrew from the cafe. When it was time for it to close, I made sure to clean up my vomit, by the way. Huh? So she drank her own poison coffee? Literally. Day 2 of surveillance. The morning sun was blinding. The witch had been lounging at cafe since earlier. Why on earth could she be hunting the same cafe day after day? Could she be biding her time until I attack again? But since I had decided not to try anything for 5 days, I spent these days on stakeout, drinking coffee and throwing it up. Day 3 of surveillance. Oh no, her girl is here again. It's the puker. She's back. What? She's definitely going to order coffee, and she definitely going to be buff it back up. Okay, it's plenty. Wait. Okay, back to the point. But since I had decided not to try anything for 5 days, I spent this day to stake out, drinking coffee and throwing it up. Day 3 of surveillance. Oh no, that whole girl is here again. It's the puker. She's back. What? She's definitely going to order coffee, and she's definitely going to buff it back up. Buff it back up. It's pretty much guaranteed she will throw up. There is 100% chance to vomit it today. Forecast. so they are making fun of her, huh? Okay, the cafe staff surrounded me at a distance, whispering among themselves. I could hear everything they said, but being the cynical type, I was accustomed to certain degree of prejudice. So I had coffee today too. I gulped it down with gusto, and up it came in record-breaking volume. Day 4 of surveillance. I started. Wait, day 3 of surveillance here. Wait, can you see my cursor, guys? No? Yes, you guys can see. Day 3 surveillance is here and day 4 surveillance is here. I started puking in the morning, throwing up coffee to vomit. By the way, the witch had deliberately placed in a single cup of coffee on the table in front of her. My vomit soundtrack would continue as long as she did not move. Day 5 of surveillance. The boss summoned me first thing in the morning. What are you doing every day at the cafe? He asked. Huh? What's this? Is this boss of mine stalking me? Apparently a letter of complaint had arrived from the cafe stating we had like you to do something about your subordinate who has been vomiting at our cafe every single day. She's been really bad off for business. She's really bad for business. After he gave me peace of his mind, I snuck back over to the cafe. The witch was there on that day too. The only thing I learned over 5 days of surveillance was the fact that the witch was going to the same cafe, sitting there, and in the days from morning to night, totally exposed. The only thing I could be certain of was that I had plenty of opportunities to. I simply had to jump on the opportunity, right? The following day, okay, the 6th day, I finally set out to execute my plan. I had been ordered to kill her, but killing went against my principles. Yes, killing is not cool. So I decided to capture her instead. On this day, she was parked in a seat at the cafe without a care, coffee sitting on the table in front of her, completely defenseless. If I was going to do it, it had to be now. I gripped my wand and came up directly behind her, then shouted as I cast a spell. All right, all right. It was handcuff spell, an amazing spell that forcibly entrapped my opponent in the type of handcuffs that bound even the finger with the solid chains. By the way, it had taken me a week to learn it. Okay, so she's learning that spell and all accused to the surveillance. Okay. Ha 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 ha. How's that? You can't do anything like this. Can you? Serves you right. I laughed loudly in the cafe as I dragged the fictional witch off by scruff of her neck. Let's get you back to the office. But, are you an idiot? Someone tapped my shoulder. Huh? What your deal? When I turned around, I saw a witch with ash-colored hair and lapis-colored eyes. Huh? What the heck? Why is my captive just standing here? What's going on? Did you really think the dummy sitting at a cafe all day was me? What? Did you really think the dummy sitting at the cafe all day was me? When I looked more careful, the fictional witch in my painting was just a doll with the same appearance as the witch. She had been coming to the cafe every day for 5 days. This doll had been sitting here the whole time. Whoa, what a climax, bro. That was her trick. I made her acutely aware of this fact in the moment. You dummy, the witch said as she fired a spell in my direction. So finally it's come, huh? Okay. I had realized on the first day of my stay that I was being targeted by someone. Right away, I took steps to protect myself from whoever it was. The following day, I had gone to the cafe before it opened. Excuse me. Wait. Excuse me. Would it be okay for me to put this doll in one of the tenant seat? I asked. It was a mannequin that imitated my appearance to a T, from the modeling on its face to the shape of its figure. Even the texture of its skin was exactly like mine for a witch of my caliber, making this was a piece of a cake. Huh? This? Well, we don't really do that sort of thing here. The manager was little confused. I should have said this earlier, but my name is Elaina. The Ashen Witch, Elaina. I introduced myself politely. By the way, I'm quite famous. I pointed to the autograph decorated the cafe wall. I suspected that whomever had tried to get me drunk poison coffee on the first day had placed it there. I had absolutely no idea what purpose it was supposed to serve, but I was going to take this liberty of using it against them. A famous person? The manager started mulling it over. Think about it, Mr. Manager. My signature is here on your wall, right? And I have a doll of myself, right? Yes. And we are going to put it on Terence, right? It will be great for a business. Let's do it. Come on. That's how negotiation work, really? The manager and I shook hands firmly. And everything goes smoothly. Okay. The mannequin was put into place, and I began my surveillance of Lady Bartholomew, my temporary nickname for her, who was surveilling me. She watching me for 5 whole days, covering herself with a puke. And she did great job. But I was not the least bit inclined to reward her effort. But I was not the least bit inclined to reward her effort. Wow, what a great line. You're dummy. I fired several orbs to magical energy, blasting her, but not enough to kill her. I thought that if I blasted her, she probably wouldn't come after me anymore. I thought that if I blasted her, she probably wouldn't come after me anymore. Well, that's all taken care of. I considered collecting my mannequin, but mannequin mean that doll actually, but that would make it look like I'd lost to a mere customer in some ways. So I decided to leave it where it was. This way, it can live a life of delightful leisure, drinking coffee at a cafe, I suppose. Oh, excuse me, one coffee, please. I sat opposite the mannequin and raised my hand to call manager over. Startled to see the same face sitting across from itself, the manager placed my coffee and refilled the 4 mannequin cup on the table and left. I was enjoying the aroma of coffee. Wait, right there. We are not done here. Painting and puffing. The mage reappeared. Her brown pigtails were in the disarray, and strands were sticking to her sweetie face. She must have run back here after being blown away. Okay. Oh, hi there. I greeted her with a bob of my head. It wasn't well received. Did you think I would just give up? Well, too bad. I won't give up until I knocked you out with all my power. The girl took her wand in hand, prepared herself, and cast a spell in my direction. It was just a crude burst of blue-white light, a collection of magical energy. Poof! I curled the corner of my mouth up slightly and raised my wand as I balanced my cup in my hand. You really are dummy. As if something like that would be effective. But the spell she had cast slipped right through and blasted my head to bits. My mannequin head, that is. Okay, that's not me. I showered her with a sphere of magical energy again and sent her flying. Then I repaired the mannequin. That means that doll. Even after that, she kept coming back over and over again. Too bad for you. I'll come back as often as it takes. Well, I blasted her away again. My name is Yuri. I'm a light mage working as a spy in the country. It was a little late for her to be introduced herself. And she wasn't acting with the slightest bit of secrecy despite being a self-proclaimed spy. I had whole I had a whole host of questions which made my head throb, so for the time being I simply fired more magic at her. Oh, what's this? Is that all you got? If you want to take me down, you better hit me with something stronger. I went along with her suggestion and blasted her away more forcibly. I mean, what's with you? What is deal with witches? Why are you sharing a table with the mannequin? I mean that doll. It's so gross. I'm gonna puke. I blasted her away. I have to bring you down. Now kindly behave and let me finish you off. You evil witch. I blasted her away and you know the rest. Come on, just one hit would be nice. So wouldn't you just take it? I really just want to land one hit. Okay, please. I blasted, well, you know the rest. I love the author. I blasted him, well, you know the rest. Come on, die. You know the rest. I'm putting all my power into this one attack. You know the rest. I was staying in the middle of chanting myself. You know the. God! Finally, a raised girl appeared before me, her breath raised from crying. I hate witches! She was gripping her skirt tightly. Would you like to borrow this to wipe your tears? Would you like to borrow this? Wipe your tears. I'm not crying. Yuri snatched up the handkerchief I offered to her. Yes, you are. I'm not. Yuri blew her nose into handkerchief. What is this girl doing? You can keep that. Thanks. Feel another cry coming on. I'm going home. And then she slowly walked away her back and had an air of sorrow about it. Okay, so she is Yuri. Oh, I feel so sad for her. God. I literally feel so sad for her. Yuri, you're good. You're a good girl, Yuri. You're truly spy, you know. You are fired. It was the following day. It went to the office as always when a boss hit me with those words and nothing else. What? You're joking, right? I was half laughing, unable to fully believe him. However, the eyes of the boss as he stared at me were merciless. I'm serious. Listen, this latest directive was not just an internal affair. We had appeal from other countries too. But you screwed up. Do you know what this means? Think about it with that tiny brain of yours. I'm sorry. This isn't something that you can be solved with the apology. Thanks to your screwed up. The reputation of my organization has been dragged through the mud. To make matter worse, you caused a huge uproar at the coffee shop. You got heavy burden of responsibility here. Like how much? Like this much. The boss raised his hand and pointed it at me. His rugged hand was covered in a black glove and holding a revolver. Revolver! He was pointing at my head. You're joking, right? I'm serious. This was first time anyone had genuinely intended to kill me. That can't be! I was ferreting, holding my wavering voice in check. That can't be right! All I did was fail one important assignment, right? Why do I have to die? I worked here for a long time. I may still be immature, but I won't mess up again, so come on! Get out! Now if you leave, I won't have to get my hands dirty. Were you listening? Even if I'm not the one to kill you, many people on this country will come after you. It's probably a good idea for you to leave town, but news of your failure is already spreading to our neighbors. If you don't get far away before anyone finds out, I'm guessing you will be assassinated. Well, Well, that's so sad for my Yuri girl. She's too kawaii. She's her plan is also so kawaii, but no. Save Alina. Save this pure girl. I can't bring myself to lay hand on you. You are like a daughter to me. Could you just piss off to somewhere? I don't know about it. Please. I'm firing you so I don't have to do something worse. He didn't want to get his own hair dirty, so he was taking my leash off and throwing me out. He would have nothing to do with what happened after that, whether I died a dog death or whatever else. I understood that implication. You won't protect me? I choked out, but that was all I could say. Of course not. That's what it means to be a spy. We dispose of you when you are no longer useful, even if you are an ally, even if you are a gifted. You are no exception. Without saying anything, I just took stock still. Take care and try not to get killed before you leave the country. Those were the last words my boss ever said to me. Well, this story taking another another track, right? Now it's about Yuri, not about Elena. Huh. I can't bring myself to lay hand. Okay. It was the day after Yuri had given up on me and gone home. I was at my usual cafe. Actually, I hadn't particularly planned on coming here, but what I can say, I had grown to like the taste of their hard boiled eggs. Since the townscape, as viewed from the terrace seating, had its own kind of charm, I decided to sit in my usual seat. Sniff the. This is all your fault. I'm gonna hate you for the rest of my life. Okay, the Yuri girl again. However, it seemed another customer had arrived before me. If you had just let me take you down like the directive said, I could have finished the job without getting fired. I could have continued forever as a spy. I hate witches. It was Yuri, I know. Fat tears spilling from her eyes, she sat across from my mannequin, blabbing on forever in total despair. Didn't that make her feel worse? It's all over. How did I turn out like this? She was cradling her knees, hunches over on the chair, balanced atop her knees with a pointy hat that was hair tintingly squashed. Are you sure it wasn't because you're still immature? I gently planted my hand on her head. Planted. What? She turned around and, after looking me back and forth between me and the mannequin several times, she quickly whipped her tear. I wasn't crying. I wasn't crying. Oh, is that so? Shall I lend you another handkerchief? What? Did you come to laugh at me? No, I just come to eat breakfast. Aren't you here for the same reason? She suddenly turned her face away from me. That's right. I come here for breakfast. You don't look like you have ordered yet. The table top was empty. I was just about to. Well, then mind ordering something for me too? Do you hear yourself? No way. No, not for me. Order for version of me across from you. Fine. Great. I tossed the mannequin off to the side somewhere that sat opposite to the girl. Yuri glared at me without saying anything. I'm not going to treat you. It's not nice to lie. You know, I think I let out little laugh. If you treat me, I will tell you about your future. What? I think we're ready to order. I raised my hand and called waitress over. A double order for my usual breakfast, please. We both sat in a silence until the waitress returned with our food. I wasn't particularly bothered by it, but Yuri seemed to have been agony the whole time. What? She barked soundly. All prickly as our breakfast was being set in front of us. Seems like they kick you out of the spy organization, huh? Cutting off any chance for her light, redundant conversation, I spoke up right away as I gently tapped the shell of my egg on the table. Was yesterday the deadline for taking me out? Why do you know about it? Where did you hear that? I knew as soon as you sat down at this table. You mean you know from the start? You know you won't impress anyone by chattering on about the details of your work in the public. I don't think you'll make a very good spy. She claimed up. She was probably feeling self-conscious. So they drove you out because you still had some growing up to do. Huh? That's too bad. It's all your fault. It probably wouldn't have turned out that way even if I had been your opponent. If that was the extent of your true abilities, wouldn't you say have been fired somewhere down the line once they found you were useless? Whether your opponent was me or someone else, it would have turned out the same way eventually. Sooner or later, that would have been her fate. That's all there was to say. I continued pressing her, but why do you think everything is over just because you were fired? Don't you think you need some perspective? For example, for even for a given cup of coffee, there were some people who preferred it black and there were those who liked to add milk and sugar. And I suppose there were also girls who disliked it so much they puked all over themselves. In other words, look at a cup of coffee. It can take on many different flavors depending on the person drinking it. How about it? How about trying to look at your current situation in different ways? Like how? Let me see. I looked up at the sky after pretending to think for a little while. I chomped into my egg. Well, how about something like this? And then I said, think of this as a starting life anew. Think of this as a starting life anew. You just graduated from the spy organization ordered to go out into the greater world, so maybe you are being driven out of this country partly by force, but don't you think you would be welcomed back with open arms if you return as an excellent mage? Don't you think that would be cool way to live? I said something along those lines. She went silent again. However, her dark expression was gone. So cool, so hard-boiled, that might work. She mumbled herself, a color gradually returning to her face. So you like hard-boiled detective? You don't really have time to be wasting then. Why don't you go learn things out there in the greater world? What you are missing is experience. She was quite hard-headed, which I realized when she had thought she could win just by blasting me with the balls of magic energy. She was on the top. She was on the same level as a boiled egg. I placed an envelope on the table and stood up. Well, since you will going, I'll give you this a gift for your brand new life. Open it and take it a look in your Open it and take a look in a year's time. She looked securely closed envelope and frowned. I think I'm probably going to open it right away. Oh, that's fine. I placed a spell on it so that if you open it before a year has passed, the letter inside will burn and disappear. It will be a huge disaster if you open it. That's not fine at all. That's why I told you not open it. What's wrong with you? The letter contained guidelines for traveling and secret of becoming a strong magic user. If you train diligently for a year, I bet you will see satisfying result. I dropped a single gold coin on the table with a thunk and set the mannequin back in its seat. All right, after you enjoy a pleasant breakfast with his version of me, please hurry up and leave the country. Still sitting across from mannequin, the girl opened her eyes wide in a surprise. Huh? I thought I was treating you the breakfast. I lied. It was the day after I had come to this country and subsequently almost drunk coffee poisoned by Yuri. I was in coffee shop. As I walked around town, I was flanked down by a gaudy man, which was the same guy who had tried to pick me up. Again with this guy. I thought he had changed completely from the previous day, wearing a sore look on his face. In the end, I decided to go with him, wondering what was going on. I followed him until we arrived at this coffee shop. I have request for you. On the other side the counter, a stir older man crossed his hands and told me he was the boss of spy organization. Oh, what? Wait. On the other side of counter, an also older man crossed his hands and told me he was boss of spy organization. He assumed an even more serious expression. There is a young girl in our group. Her name Yuri. She is the girl who asked for your autograph yesterday. Uh-huh. I will get straight to the point. Will you please help me drive her out of his country? Drive her out of this country. I was about to ask why, but the man was already continuing speaking. Well, we already put together this plan to drive her away. Why they want to drive her away to this country? I don't get it. But wait. I was urged to read the contents, so I opened it without hesitation. Written in the file was profile of which with an appearance and personal history that closely resembled mine, along with a call for her elimination on account of being an evil influence. The only apparent difference was the witch name. I didn't go by a title that sounded as a fake, as a fictional witch. I never imagined a witch with ashen hair would actually come to our country. I made miscalculation. I doubt this reflects your personal history, but with the directive, you have been transformed into quite a villain. Why are you looking away? No reason. I changed the subject. So why Yuri supposed to assassinate her? No reason. I changed subject. So why Yuri supposed to assassinate her? It's a long story, but the sore-looking man told me the story. Reluctantly. How this is pronounced, man? Reluctantly. It reconnect the past. The man had picked up Yuri when she was still an infant. What? The man had picked up Yuri when she was still an infant. Apparently, she had been abandoned. Feeling pity for her, he showed her with parental love and raised her as his own. Yuri grew up an obedient child. One could even call her naive. She respected the job that this man, her father, did and started to help him with his work. However, she was in no way cut out to be a spy. Her heart was simply too kind. I can't protect her forever. Yuri has one foot in this world, which isn't as nice as she thinks. Yes. This world isn't the nice as she thinks. It's a filthy as murder. I imagine he was committing murder and other heinous acts which he hid from Yuri. Beneath those black gloves, his hands were so stained with blood that he could certainly never expose them in public, and that was something he himself understood quite well. So that's why you want to distance yourself from her. That's what it comes down to. So I come up with the plan of a fictional witch. According to this plan, his plan, he would task Yuri with the assassination of the fictional witch, since she would be searching for a witch who shouldn't exist in the first place. She would fail in her duties. As soon as that happened, he was planning to condemn her and drive her away. However, my arrival completed things. I see. In other words, you like to me to play along and knock her around a bit and make her feel powerless. On top of that, you want me to give her a big beacon of hope as I drive her out from the country. I guess that's what I'm asking. Yes. You have no problem putting me in tough spot. I think you can do it. Being the witch you are. Don't underestimate me. I'm more than capable. Capable. I had one question. Why did you come up with the plan to assassinate a witch who looks like me? He was quiet for a moment. It's a long story, but give me the abridged version, please. He was quiet again. A long time ago, when I was still young, I was commissioned as to assassinate a witch who looked like you, but she easily turned the table on me. Huh? Well, your opponent was a witch after all. And I fell in love. She was strongly amazing, beautiful woman. Oh, well, she was a witch after all. The witch disappeared after several days, but I never been able to forget the encounter. Anyhow, she was the first person to ever defeat me, so that's why I drew up directive this way. I remember that time well. At this point, it's become treasure memory. That's the story the man told me as a stroking his black gloves. So her outward appearance and whatnot didn't really matter. He simply couldn't be bothered to come up with a new face. So that's what's going on. But why is she the fictional witch? I asked. He smiled masochistically. Basically, oh sorry, because the directive is a work of fiction. A year had passed since that incident, and in order to fulfill my promise to a certain witch, I opened the letter in a coffee shop. I visited along. Okay. This is Yuri after a year, and she's about to open the letter. Okay, got it. I opened the letter in a coffee shop I visited along my travel. I didn't burn up. Several sheets of slightly discolored stationery peeked out shyly from inside. The handwriting was quite rough and unrefined, as if it had been written by a middle-aged man and not a girl about the same age as me. It was all bunch of lines. It contained guidelines of traveling and secret of becoming strong magic user. That had been a dirty lie. The letter contained nothing of a sort. I read until the word went blurry. What was written there were well wishes on my departure, requests for me to come to see him, warning that he would kill any potential boyfriends, but that he wanted to see his grandchild face, etc. It was a letter sent from father to his daughter, full of paternal doting. How soothing it is, man. This story is so great. I like it. So the letter is not from the Ashen Witch, Elaina. It's actually from his father. And contain dot. It contained what a warm message. It was a letter sent from my father to his daughter. Sent from a father to his daughter, full of paternal doting. How stupid! Oh, what happened? Were you shocked? You failed the advancement exams again? The black-haired witch who sat down next to me laughed loudly, as if she saw me as a just dumb kid. I'm not crying. If you are hurting, I can give you some advice. If you are hurting, I can give you some advice. I said, I'm not crying. Jeez! I whipped my tear and pouched her shoulder. The witch Saya. Saya? Saya! I know the Saya girl! Yay! The witch Saya acted like it didn't hurt and laughed. But that's really too bad. How many times does this make? How many times this make? 5. I failed way more times than... I failed way more times than that. You're fine. Fine, how? Well, I also went through this phase long ago, but thanks to an incredible witch. How many times have you told me this story? I'm sick of it. Come on. Give it up. Currently, I was studying magic while I travel around to all sort of country, working my way toward the top ranks of mage, toward becoming a witch apprentice. Well, that would be no easy feat, but if I could manage that, I could handle anything. Right now, however, I was feeling disheartened. How to pronounce this word? Disheartened as a self-supporting student who had failed several times already. I had met Saya while living the student life. She had been working a part-time proctoring exam to top up her traveling expenses fund, and maybe because she pitied pitied me as a particular poor student, or because she senses something about me. She had been following me around the whole time I took the exam. I met Elaina in this country, you know. Oh, I remember it's clearly even now. I met Elaina in this country, you know. Oh, I remember it clearly even now. Country this crowded country, packed with the busy rooftops, apparently only admits mages, all more ideals for certain travel to home their skill in a magical combat. Hooray! Okay, that was all well and good, but more importantly, the witch named Elena, who appeared in Saya's story, bore a striking resemblance in both appearance and personality to the witch who had taught me a thing or two. But that one, but what on earth could I say about that? Yuri, what's with that handkerchief? Saya had been chattering away, but her eyes fell on my handkerchief and she stopped talking. Look, you know that story I told you before? Yeah, this was given to me by the witch who inspired me to leave my home country. Huh? She stared hard at handkerchief and mumbled to herself, "No, it can't be. But like this? Oh, seriously? No way!" Something I really didn't understand, Saya. To escape her gaze, I set the handkerchief down beside the letter and picked up my coffee cup. What's the letter? Saya's eyes moved from the handkerchief to the letter. This, I got it from my father. Why do you have to look at me with the doubt in your eyes? I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not lying. Can I read it? I don't think you will find it very interesting. That's not true. With a smile, she took the letter from me. She read the letter, mumbling, I knew this scent. Beside her, I brought my cup of black coffee to my mouth, thinking about it now. It had probably been nearly 1 year since I last drank coffee. Even with all that happened, it wasn't bad to have little taste of home from time to time while traveling. At some point, I would become even more splendid mage. At the time, I think even my stubborn boss, as a hard-headed as a hard-boiled egg, would be happy to see me again. With everything that happened, I think I can summarize this story in a single phrase. That phrase being the very definition of hard-boiled. Sorry, I lied. There is one more sheet of stationery left in the envelope. What? That can't be right. That's what I thought, but sure enough, Saya slipped a single piece of paper out of envelope. No way! We put our heads together. Both read was written on the paper. I forgot to tell you one thing, so I included this sheet as a postscript. Recently, one of the local cafe has started a service where you can be seated with mannequins. Oh, really? Wait. One of local cafe has started a service where you can be seated with the mannequins. I mean that dolls of Elena. This is really the best of the best of the best. I think I can summarize the best of the best. I think I can summarize what I want to say in a single phrase. Dolls are great. I threw up. Okay. So that's the chapter 2, guys. Chapter 1 is too short, but chapter 2 is so good and warm. So I concluded this stream now. I will edit this stream and post it again. So until then, see ya. Tata, guys. I'll meet you again in the next chapter. That would be chapter 3, right? Likes and dislikes. You know, every story of Elaina teach us something precious. Okay, so by this I will conclude this stream, and I'm going, guys. Bye bye. Tata, see you. Thank you for joining. Oh my god, what is this chat? I hate you. Why are you here? Why these chats are here? Come on, guys. I will edit this. No, don't worry, I will edit this, because I know these chats are nothing but something pornographic content, right? Don't click on that if you are not adult. Leave it. Okay, bye bye, guys.